looked him over and made sure I had all his hands and toes and stopped for a moment to be proud of the fact that he was a done. Okay, so that joke was caught by 2 people. That was a good one. But the thoughts that were running through my mind were not the thoughts that most people would have. You see, when your first child is born, you should be thinking, this is the greatest moment of my life. Everything's going to be amazing. I'm going to provide a great life for you. But for me, it was tragically different. And it's almost embarrassing to say that when I looked at my son and held him the first time, the first words that came to my mind were, how am I going to pay for this? You see, I went through this 15-year career in policing where I was an undercover drug cop. I mean, it was really cool. At 18 years old, I got paid to be stoned. I met my high school teacher years later and told him the story, and he says, well, at least the second time you got paid for it. I wasn't really the greatest high school student. From a SWAT team, or from a drug investigative team, to a SWAT team, to a homicide detective, child sexual abuse. Heck, in 1999, I even investigated pyramid schemes. Look at me now. But I never once took my financial well-being seriously. And I never once thought about it until my son was born, until my first child. How many people can relate to where I'm going so far? But I'll tell you what, I looked at my son that first day, I held him in my hands and I said, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to fix this problem. Now, it was a monumental problem. I was making $100 grand a year in income, and I was $486,000 in debt. $190,000 in mortgage, $125,000 in maxed out credit cards, $100 grand in lines of credit. I had $60,000 in car payments, and I owed my dad $75,000. So if you think you got bills, wake up, you ain't got nothing. But that day I decided I was going to do something about it. And I knew that what I was doing now wasn't going to get me to where I wanted to go. Anybody else have that realization yet over this weekend? And so I decided I was going to fix the problem. And listen, here's what I did. I knew I had to start businesses. I knew I had to start something. And I went out and I started a little mortgage business back in Canada. It was 2001, the rates had just dropped. It was a perfect time to be getting involved in that business, and on a part-time basis, started this business. I started refinancing mortgages for police officers. And in less than 12 months, became financially free. It was the most amazing experience. We went from $500,000 in debt to owing nobody nothing in less than 12 months. Made $1 million in income in less than 12 months, part-time. But let me tell you, it wasn't an easy ride. I was already working 15 hours a day as a cop. I was already providing and doing everything I could and trying just to stay ahead of the bills. And so I decided that looking at my son, that pain I felt in my heart was enough to put me into a zone where I would never give up on a dream to make that change. Because I couldn't even look. When I held my son for the first time, I felt like a failure. I couldn't look in a mirror without starting to cry. And it was that same common vision in my head every single day that got me from there to here. And it's been an absolutely amazing, amazing journey.